Good evening. I am Nidhi Jain. On the behalf of Arjun Foundation and Movement of Positivity, I welcome you all to the second episode of Samaj Ke Ratna Ek Nayi Daastan. Samaj Ke Ratna Ek Nayi Daastan is about telling stories of unsung heroes who have contributed tremendously towards society and have done unparalleled social work. The main objective behind this program is to motivate people to do their bit towards society to make the world a better place. Now, let me introduce you all to the brains behind this novel idea. We have with us Mrs. Himangi Sinha, founder and chairman of Arjun Foundation. Arjun Foundation is a Delhi based NGO working for social causes all around India. The NGO focuses on women empowerment, skill development, and youth counseling. इस पैंडेमिक के दौरान इस एनजीओ ने माइग्रेंट और ईडब्ल्यूएस कैटेगरी के लोगों तक मास्क व एसेंशियल गुड्स पहुंचाए और साथ ही कपल काउंसलिंग भी करी। इसी समय एनजीओ ने एक स्कूल को अडॉप्ट किया जिनमें ब्लाइंड गर्ल्स रहती हैं और वो 32 गर्ल्स रहती हैं उस ब्लाइंड स्कूल में। Introducing you all to the other pioneer behind this novel idea. Have with us today Dr. Dhaneshwar Mule. Welcome, sir. He has served as an IFS officer and currently is member of National Human Rights Commission. He was recently nominated at Prabhas for the position of chairperson. In India, he is famously known as Passport Man of India. इनके गाइडेंस में भारत के कोने-कोने में पासपोर्ट केंद्र खोले गए। He has made immense contribution in the field of literature and social work. During this phase of pandemic, he initiated Movement of Positivity. Movement of Positivity is all about creating a positive environment and giving direction to positive ideas. Movement of Positivity के कार्यकर्ताओं ने गांवों में जाकर मास्क पहुंचाए और साथ ही एक मुंबई के डब्बा वालों सर्विसेज आर्थिक मदद पहुंचाई गई। We are grateful to have you with us, sir. Now, we also want to thank 10 News, who is our partner, media partner in this endeavor. Every month, around 30 million people are watching 10 News, and we heartily congratulate 10 News for their growth. And we also thank 10 News very much for providing us with a platform. Now, introducing to our Samaj Ke Ratna, our hero, rather I would say our superhero, Dr. Sameer Ghosh. He has done his master's in social policy from Tata Institute of Social Sciences and holds a PG diploma degree from London School of Economics. Throughout his academic career, he has been first class first and awarded with gold medal. Sir, I'm overwhelmed by looking at the contribution you have made almost in every sector, sir. Right from education, sanitation, and even in decentralized planning. Particularly, he has made immense contribution in uplifting the PWS category, which is Person with Disability category. He has worked extensively with various state governments and also world organizations like UNICEF and been an advisor at World Bank. Now, he is currently engaged in drafting social inclusion plan for states like Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. He is working in the capacity of director at Shodna Consultancy for further helping the PWS category. Apart from all these, he has also written social inclusion plan document for 12th five-year plan in the capacity of planning steering committee member. Sir, it will take me more than a day to describe you completely and describe your work, sir. And I am very sure we are very much eager to know about the journey and what have kept you motivated throughout your journey, sir. We welcome you once again, sir. over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nidhi.
Thank you.
So, where do we start? I mean, uh, should I start from my very early childhood to say
Yes, sir.
that
Yes.
I have been, I come from a very lower middle class family, and I was born and brought up in a very sleepy town those days, but quite a vibrant town now called Bilaspur. It's in Chhattisgarh. So you can say in a way that Chhattisgarh has been my Karm Bhumi or Jan Bhumi and now partly Karm Bhumi also. So, I think when one goes through the various facets of life, there are many, very many small anecdotes and incidences that actually build up the the milieu of your personality. And I do remember in my very early childhood, it's a small little incident, but again, which uh, actually brought a great sense of respecting for others. It's the incident happens like this that I used to be. I'm talking when I was very young. I was in the uh, maybe in my lower KG or upper KG standard. We never used to have, bicycles or car or a scooter to bring us home and things. Our parents used to be extremely confident that if the child has gone to the school, he knows how to come back. So while I was coming back, I used to see every day there was a very old beggar who used to sit there and beg. So most of the time, I used to give half of my tiffin to that beggar and then come home by afternoon. Then one day he asked me to take him to a nearest small shop where he earned through begging some money, and asked me to lead him to a small shop where he would sit down and have his little chai or maybe buy two rotis and things like that. So the system I used to have my hands those days. I had not met with my accident. So the method that I used to use was hold. He had a long stick, so he would hold one side of the stick. He would be behind me, and I would be in the front of the stick, leading him up to the shop. So this incident kept on happening almost every day. And then suddenly, one fine day, when I was taking him to the shop, I saw my father cycling from one end and uh, coming. So I got very, very scared and I didn't know whether I was doing a right thing or whether I was doing a wrong thing. So what I did was I just dropped the stick, left that old man in the middle of the road and ran away from there, thinking that I was doing something that I was doing wrong. I ran away thinking that my father had not seen me. But actually, by the time I was very clearly visible, so he had already seen me. So, like that, when I went home, my father asked me that, "What were you doing?" So I told him, "Well, nothing," means trying to hush up the whole thing and telling, "No, no, nothing, I was doing nothing." So he said, "I saw you. I saw you leaving that old man in the middle of nowhere and running away. So why did you run away?" I said that, and I didn't know whether I was doing right or wrong. What would he say? So I didn't have an answer. So he said that, look, what you did was extremely wrong. If you are helping somebody complete the job, and something that you're doing good. So why did you have to run away? Then I told him that I was scared that what will you say? So then he gave me that lesson and said that anybody who requires your help, anybody, maybe anybody who requires your help, and if you are helping, then never shy away from them. It's a moment of pride rather than shy away. So that was a great turning point and a lesson to me that was given by my father at a very young age. So that kept on lingering in my mind, and I think I have kept till date. I have kept that very deep into my heart. And each time I think, I feel nice about my own self. That what I was doing at a very young age was something that was right. So like that, then a big turning point came in my life when I met with my accident when I was only 8 years old. I was electrocuted in a 11 kV transformer. Unknowingly, I went and touched the high tension wire, where both my hands got burned. They had to be operated out, and I didn't know what to do, except that those days, or which I still don't see much of a change happening, that everybody thought that if you become an engineer, then that's the way of life. So my first question was, now that my hands are gone, how do I become an engineer? So uh, there used to be many doctors who used to come to see me. I was admitted in the railway hospital. The hospital wasn't well equipped, but all I can say is the doctors must have been extremely dedicated and very loving, loved their work, loved their profession. That's how they could save me. Otherwise, there was no way that my survival was guaranteed. So one of the doctors suddenly asked me. I asked her, I used to call her, just call her auntie. So I said that, auntie, I don't have my hand. So how do I become an engineer? So she didn't answer that day, but she came back after 2 days, and then she just asked me, Samir, do you believe that men go to moon nowadays? So I said yes. So I said, then why can't you write with your foot? So that was something that kept on, it got ingrained in my head. And I thought that, yes, I could. Maybe that was a possibility. So I sat down. I was still not discharged from the hospital because I was hospitalized for more than 3.5 months. Uh, yeah. Well, those days, I think hospitalization also used to be for longer duration. And nowadays, I don't think with the technology and with all other things, I think these kinds of things have comparatively reduced. But in those days, I think the hospitalization used to be a longer period. So during that period, I sat down on a hospital desk or a kind of a stool and started practicing. So the first day when I took the pen and and I remember she holding my two fingers in the and a pencil was put across my thumb and the next finger. And then I wrote my name as Samir, Samir, I write. So I wrote my name as Samir. When I wrote that name, I suddenly saw that, it was all legible. I could read what I had written. So it encouraged me a lot. So the first point of possibility in life came in that, okay, this is possible. So after I was discharged from the hospital, in fact, in the hospital only, I kept on trying, but I couldn't get the same, you know, legible writing as I got on the first day. And then when I went back home, and there was a lower heights too. I sat on that because I was very young those days, and started practicing. And I was practicing day and night. And the reason was that, I was trying very hard to tell myself that if I have been able to write that legible letter on the first day, why can't I write on the next again? So I kept on practicing. Kept on practicing morning, evening, night, as long as I could. I used to keep awake. But then, in the whole bargain, after a long, long time, then I concluded the fact that actually it was a very beautiful little lie that she had lied me. Actually, I was only holding the pencil, and she had written that.
Oh,
So it was such a sweet and a beautiful lie that actually turned my life completely, because the element of possibility was brought in so clearly. And within next 15 days, I could pick up writing, and got admitted in the same school where I was studying. And of course, there were lots of ifs and buts, whether I'll be able to uh, join the school, what will be the peer groups thing, how will things happen, all these kinds of things kept happening. And of course, the other bit always plays on, you get lots of advisors, unwanted advisors as well, wherein my father was in a dual mind, whether to put me into the school or not, because his friend used to tell him that what if children are naughty, what if he's pushed,
true.
he'll get hurt, what if, once again he gets hurt in the place where uh, he has injuries. So my father was very, very scared. But then my mother was completely dauntless, and she made sure that I go to the school. And so ultimately, my father had to go and speak to the principal. The principal was very, very positive. Means I really wonder, in those days, I'm talking of late 1968, and
Okay.
in those days, the principal being so positive, and he said, "Okay, let him come. We will obviously have to take a little extra care of him, and let him come and join." So I went to the school. The first day in the school uh, was, as soon as I entered the school, there were a whole lot of children running behind me, literally running behind me. And uh, obviously, it was something they had never seen, a person who doesn't have arms but have come and joined. So that was there. But then everything changed, everything changed with the once we went to the prayer line. We used to have prayers in the morning before going to the classes. And when I went to the prayer line, the principal, after the prayers were over, the principal just got me into this stage and told everybody. Uh, I still remember those, sentences that he had occurred those days. Uh, he said uh, that this is Samir Ghosh. He was there with us earlier also in the school. He has come back to the school, but he is a little different from you. He might require help from time to time, and as good children, I hope you will help him. That's all were the sentence. And then I was asked to go back to the uh, queue, in the line. We all went to our respective classes. After that day, the first day, I was no more. and exhibition piece. The friends were so overwhelmingly helpful, as if nothing had happened. In fact, initially I do remember that the speed of my writing was not as much as I, of course, picked up later. So in the class, many times when in the board, the teacher would write and you have to copy it. So many times I couldn't do it. So after the board and everything, all the copies were done, then somebody would come and pick up my notebook and complete my notebook. So this was the kind of amazing change that one sentence of the principal brought into the children. And then, of course, I was part of everything. I mean, my friends also made sure that I was part of every game that was possible, everything that was possible. Now, in the games, I would also like to say here one more interesting thing, that the third umpire in a cricket, which started, I think, about 10 years back or 12 years back.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would say the inspiration of third umpire was from the Railway English Medium School where I used to study. And I'll tell you how. I couldn't play cricket. Cricket was one game where I couldn't play. But then what happened was, maybe partly of my leadership quality, our school friends would, make their own teams. This team, this couple of people will go here, some of the people will go the other side. So while they would play, first of all, that many times I used to decide who would be going in which team. So that was one kind of a decision making thing that they involved me in that way. So I was part of the game. And then another thing was, I used to be sitting there, and as kids, as you know, that there will be lots of disputes. Many times, uh, the batsman or the bowler would even hit the umpire. So when those kinds of situations used to arrive, so there would be a requirement of another decision maker as a third umpire. So I used to be that third umpire to go and resolve some of those disputes that when we as kids used to happen and do. So all in all, what I want to say is, a personality is built around your peer groups, around your friends, and how your friends take you, and how equal they make you feel. In my case, I was made to feel very, 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 very equal right from the very beginning. And that, I would say, it was by sheer luck that I had such kind of a wonderful friend circle who always thought, you know, how to involve me in as many things as possible. I was never alone. I was never aloof. So I was part of everything that was possible. So that was my school life. But in
Mhm.
school life, what happens is, you are very much captive with all your friends, and you make a kind of a comfort zone for your own self, because everybody is known to you. And but then came the time when we all parted, because other friends went to engineering colleges or medical colleges or some other colleges, and I was still in Bilaspur, and I was in the local college. I did my graduation from the Ravi Shankar University, from one of the local colleges. So there were hardly any of the friends, or even if the friends who were there, they were in the science stream, which used to be in the morning hours. I was in the arts stream, which was in the afternoon hours. So I couldn't meet my common friends who were in my school. Sometimes I did, but otherwise it was not possible for me to meet them. So almost when I joined the college, almost for about 3 months, I think. I was completely alone because they were all new children, new kids, and new uh, people there. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew how to approach me, behave with me, what would they say. So I used to be sitting practically in one of the corners of the common room, all by myself. In the morning, I would go sit there till such time the lecture starts. And in a college, as you know, that there are gaps between two lectures
Hmm.
also. So the lectures happened, and I could see that a lot of people uh, being together, joking, cracking jokes, and whatever happens in the college life. And but I was not part of it. Then something dawned to me, and I thought that well, they are not coming. But what stops me from going to them and making friendship? So I went and I introduced myself and I told I'm so and so, and try to break a conversation, break the ice. I found that really I was at a mistake. I was mistaken. It's not that they didn't want it to include me. It was it was me who was sitting aloof
And
and not going there, kind of to approach them. And then, of course, sky was the limit. I mean, I became once again kind of a center of attraction for everybody. Uh, I by mistake I entered into students' politics. By mistake, I am saying because what happened was when this college election started. So by the time of college election, there are class representatives. So I was never interested in uh, getting into it. But it so happened that everybody's nomination paper got rejected. So it is the principal's prerogative. He would nominate a class representative on the basis of marks. Your Yeah. So I got nominated by the principal as a class representative. So that's how I entered into students' politics. And then next 2.5 years, I was very, very active in students' politics. I rose up to the level of university representatives from there, where there are only a few university representatives in their entire town representing various colleges together. So I used to go to the university, taking students' problems, college problem, and all. So, and then only at the last year or the final year, I became again serious for my studies, and of course, I did very well in studies. Uh, so to say, yes. I mean, I got my first class first, and
it's
but yes, that was a very interesting spell that I had. I understood how politics works, how mainstream politics enters into in the students this thing. I mean, Ajit Jogi had tried a lot to bring me into Congress party, but fortunately, I think it was good fortune on my part that I did not enter into
exactly, exactly.
any any party politics. I restricted myself only up to that portion and got out of it. Then, of course, came a big question that doing a simple graduation, what am I going to do? How am I going to, prosper? There was an ambition. Always there was an ambition to do something, to uh, make something out of my own self. And so I applied in Tata Institute, and Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. And I applied because all my friends had given competitive examination and got into either engineering or medical colleges. I had not given any competitive examination, and which was all the time telling me that that's not the right thing to do. You know, you always feel that you should also go into a competitive examination, and a good one, so that you feel good about yourself. So I applied to ISS, and well, obviously, ISS entrance was pretty tough, but I got into it, and that actually changed. That changed my life's perspective completely. PISS life was a complete change in my life's perspective. In addition to the fact that I also met my soulmate in PISS, we were classmates to whom I got married later. Uh, from why I say it was a different perspective is because all the while we are taught to say that what teacher tells you have to listen and carry on with it. But here the main difference that I found was that here they teach you to dissent.
जी.
You can question your teacher, you can question a theory, you can question a writer, you can question a book, and they teach you the art of questioning. The teacher student relationship was so amazing. But I mean, only thing is this was possible in our time TISS because we were only about 220 students and 145 teachers as a student ratio. So we had practically, two students per teacher or even less than that. So that was the kind of a luxurious time that we used to have in those days. Now, of course, this has become very, very big. And there are more than 3,000 students in Mumbai campus itself, and they have expanded to many other campuses and all. And so you had a very close relationship with your teacher. You would carry your cup of tea in your teacher's cabin and have a conversation. And so this was a complete change in my way of thinking how the education system works and how education system should be. In addition to that, I think it also brought a very big difference in my life in terms of understanding. From individualization, it went to universalization. I used to think about only my own self, my career, my thought, my success, and I have to be something. But here, the entire system teaches you that happiness and success can be seen through others. Others' happiness can make you happy, and others' success also is your success. If you're helping somebody else to succeed, that's your success too. So, from individual, my concentration also went quite widespread in terms of that. Okay, I have to think of myself, but yes, I can think about myself through others. So that's how my interest for social policy came in. That social policy is a subject which is very broad, and you can think of people in a more scientific, well organized manner, and have a kind of a good theoretical and perspective to it. So, on that thinking, from the library, I just started looking that how and where to do the social policy. So then I saw this big fat red colored book which is called the school calendar, uh, from the London School of Economics. So I flipped through it and saw that there was a very much a course on social policy. And so I went and talked to my teachers, asking, and especially the teacher who used to teach social policy. And I said that this is a place. Should I apply? I'm very keen on uh, social policy. So he said, by all means, why not? So I applied, and obviously they must have given a very good recommendation to it in a sealed envelope, which I never saw. But the fact remains that I got admission, and I got admission without giving any other test, no TOEFL, no English language
Nice.
test or
Oh, that
anything of that sort. Yeah. I straight away got the admission letter from there.
Right.
So, so
Well,
yeah, so
Samir,
that,
that's a really fascinating story. And while of course I met you in TISS way back
yes,
in late 70s.
yes, indeed.
Many aspects and facets, I'm coming to know only now. Uh, so, but great memories. I think you, Anga, and the other friend I remember is Hamsima, and
Yes,
but I lost touch with most of them.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
such a wonderful, and you were so hospitable even then. And I remember you never tried to, keep yourself apart from others. You were
Yes.
always a kind of a good part of the, team, and great person to deal with and talk to. So, is it okay if we start asking you some
Yes,
questions?
yes, of course. Of
But
course, of course.
yes, thank you so much. I think it's very inspiring. I want to take you on your political career, which is an entirely different thing that now doesn't figure much on your CV or profile. I Somebody like me personally feels that some person of your background must come to politics.
Oh.
There is a there, there is a huge segment of our society does not get represented, particularly in the political arena. And as a result, we are living in a democracy where politics is everything. Whatever whatever you might be, politics you have to deal with. Our politics, if you don't deal with it, it is going to impact you. Either be a part of it in some ways. I'm not saying necessarily you have to be an MP or an MLA, but even to become a good voter in our country is a challenge. So somebody like you would have, in my view, would have driven the entire discussion and discourse on the state's role on looking after all children, in the sense of anybody who is disadvantaged or challenged or is different in any way. State has a huge responsibility, and
I
you were
totally
lucky.
agree. Yes.
You
Yeah.
were lucky. You're lucky as a child that you got a compassionate surrounding. You were lucky in college, but most people, I must say, are not as lucky.
Completely. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yes.
So the
That's
question now is, what would you suggest? What changes would you like to envision, through the political intervention for those who are disadvantaged or challenged? In terms of policy changes that we require, framework, government is doing a lot, but a lot needs to be done.
Yeah. I would. I will say this from my work perspective now. What I am trying to do is basically I'm looking into many macro areas. Now, one of the thing is that the National Rural Livelihood Mission, which is the largest poverty alleviation program in the world, largest. Similarly, Swachh Bharat Mission is
Yeah.
also the largest initiative in the world as far as sanitation is concerned. Now the thing is that there are, when you read, I have gone through the base document of all these this big national programs. In India, we can't think anything other than, very, very big. And of course, with the size of the country and the kind of the challenges that we have, we need to think that way. So I have gone through the very base document of all, and I have tried to pick up the essence of these documents. Now, one thing is good that there is a recognition, there's a basic recognition that both at the technical level and political level, I would say definitely at a political level also, that vulnerability and disadvantage should be addressed and addressed appropriately. What is that appropriateness is a big question, that whether we go up to that level of appropriateness or not. So I have picked up those kind of areas, and nowadays I do a lot of work on social inclusion, particularly taking the government these programs and bringing in actual inclusion into the canvas of this larger program. So I'm taking, like, recently I did the inclusion program in Chhattisgarh, and we took 10 districts, and I'm also trying to bring in a lot of convergence, larger convergence into the milieu of the program. So for Swachh Bharat mission, then we found that, although we have been talking regarding the toilet, in fact, World Bank had commissioned me to do a study in Bihar to see what is happening. First of all, they commissioned me to ask me to write a kind of an inclusive sanitation policy for Bihar. So I wrote that, and which came out as a government document by the name of Disha Nirdesh. After about 6 to 8 months' time, they asked me to go in for an evaluation and see what has happened there. So again, I did a kind of a study in 3 districts, uh, and found that nothing of the uh, points in policy that was written was actually executed. Nothing at all. So I came back and wrote my report and sent it to the World Bank. And fortunately, one of the very senior of IS officers from Maharashtra cadre had joined Swachh Bharat mission. I'm talking of 2017. So she invited me, and she said that, Samir, currently I am at a loss. I don't know exactly what my role is, but if we can work together on something. So I immediately brought in the topic of this inclusive sanitation, and I said that, look, this is what it is. There are 22 categories of people with disabilities. Out of there, 16 categories require a toilet which is different. They cannot use the common toilet either at a public place or even at their home. Nobody thinks of them. And I mean, I got lots of such kind of evidences in my studies, going directly meeting people. It was as stark as this, that when there was a disabled person in the home in Bihar, I'm talking of Begusarai district, where the father came out and said, नहीं इसको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, इसको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, ये तो चला जाता है, ऐसे ही चला जाता है, संडास में ऐसे ही चला जाता है. Then the boy came out and said, हाँ पापा मैं तो जाता हूँ, लेकिन मेरे को पैर पूरा फैला के बैठना पड़ता है, बहुत तकलीफ होती है वहां पे, जगह छोटा है, and all these things. So the parents themselves never understand that what kind of problems that their children are having. So I brought all these things as case studies and all. So then we started doing this pilot in Chhattisgarh. We took 10 districts in Chhattisgarh and did the pilot. We have created 7 different designs for individual household toilets for people with disabilities. And we have designed 3 separate designs of community toilet, which is in which we have included the transgender person's toilet as well. So this is the kind of thing that bringing in the inclusion and bringing in the policy change. But it's very, 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 uh, tough to practically move things in the government, particularly because of many times it happens because of the kind of old attitude, and you carry on that attitude along with you. And so breaking those kinds of bricks becomes very difficult. The second point that I did was I have been doing since 2012 is the intervention with National Rural Livelihood Mission. Again, the same thing, that livelihood, whereas the base document has defined livelihood in a very broad way, but here, it's only ultimately it's only credit and savings and a little bit. Of course, it's much better than what it used to be during the earlier era of Swarna Jayanti, Gram Swarojgar Yojana. It's much wider and well done document. But again, you limit yourself to credit and savings and credit, and that's all. So, whereas livelihood defined in the main document itself says that you have to bring in the enabling environment for people to, earn their own livelihood in a sustainable manner. So, so that enabling environment makes a lot of difference when it comes to persons with disabilities, because you require a lot of enabling environment there, lot of enabling environment. First of all, right from their own image, the kind of image that they have for themselves. In the rural areas, it is, it's pathetic. I mean, no services, hardly there is any service that has gone there. There's no empowering kind of a program that has any of the government of India program does. It's especially for the disabled and other vulnerable groups. It's just giving some scholarship and distributing some aids and appliances. That doesn't bring dignity to anybody's life. He continues to be that, and as far as the NGO movement is concerned, as far as this sector, it is very urban centric. So I brought in the concept of inclusion into the canvas of National Rural Livelihood Mission as well in in Bihar, in Odisha, in Maharashtra, and Rajasthan. These were the four states I worked very intensely and developed a model, particular model of inclusion into this into the system. Now, a lot of very small changes bring a lot of difference. Like when any of the programs that were already which was there in the MIS of the state livelihood mission, the review of disability sector was not there. So since review is not there, if the boss is not doing any review, then nobody is interested. I am not being questioned at the bottom, so nobody is interested. So I have to work from that angle, to bring in their agenda into the MIS, so that that review happens. What work is being done? So like that, I have done it in 4 states, and so this is where I am looking into the basic kind of a policy changes, and uh, into larger means through program. I'm looking into the policy changes. Yeah, and my entering into the active politics, I am not adverse to it. Neither I think politics is a dirty game, because obviously you all have to understand it, that unless we give it sufficient amount of respect, there's no point in calling that it's a dirty game and things like that. You need to, you know, uh, इन सिंपल हिंदी में जैसे कहते हैं कि हाथ आप जब तक गंदा नहीं करोगे तब तक आपको गरीबी का एहसास नहीं होगा। तो वही बात है कि अगर जब तक आप भी पॉलिटिक्स में या आप इसमें नहीं करते हो तब तक आप ये कह नहीं सकते कि हाँ सारा का सारा चीज खराब है। यस, आई हैव हैड very good encounters with politicians. I do interact with politicians quite a lot, and
So
there are good
maybe
bad things everywhere.
one day we would like to see you in the parliament.
Thanks, Garish.
But what do we do to sensitize politicians and bureaucrats? What do you suggest?
Well, bureaucracy.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can we have this conversation in Hindi, sir? तो सर
हाँ,
ज्यादा लोग
बिल्कुल, नहीं भाई।
समझ पाएंगे।
हाँ भाई,
जी।
क्यों नहीं?
हाँ जी सर, सर।
कोई इशू ही नहीं है, ऐसी कोई बात ही नहीं है। वैसे देखिए, लोगों को जो पॉलिटिशियंस को सेंसिटाइज करना, यानी आपको हर जगह से शुरू करना पड़ेगा। जैसे बिल्कुल शुरुआत में अगर चाहे तो सरपंच को ही आप ले लीजिए। आप सरपंच से शुरू करना चाहते हैं तो सरपंच को ही आप ले लीजिए। सरपंच लोगों का कहीं ना कहीं पे, मैं आपको बड़ा एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात सुनाता हूँ। मैंने कई जगह अपने डिसेबिलिटी को यूज किया है कई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रिजॉल्व करने के लिए। ये मैं महाराष्ट्र की ही बात कर रहा हूँ। रत्नागिरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक छोटा सा पंचायत है राजवाड़ी नाम का। तो वहां पे सरपंच और उप सरपंच दो अलग अलग पार्टी के थे। एक इसका शिवसेना का था, उप सरपंच शिवसेना का, और सरपंच था इसका राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस का। तो वहां पे कुछ भी कोई भी बात होती तो आपस में ये लोग झगड़ते थे। तो मुझे अपना, उस समय मैं ये एनआरएलएम का ही काम कर रहा था, करते करते मुझे कोई चीज वहां से उनके लिए उनसे मुझे सहमति चाहिए थी। तो अब साथ में आए, लोग आए वहां पे, सब गांव में लोग आए, वहां पे बैठे, सारे कुछ ये हुए, और उसके बाद फिर आपस में फिर कुछ ना कुछ लेके वो लोग झगड़ना चालू किए। तो मैंने कहा कि ठीक है, आप लोग तो वो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप ऐसे कीजिए कि मेरा कुछ जो बात है, बातचीत है, उसके बारे में जरा मैं अपना पॉइंट आपसे रख लूं, और आप जो सजेशन देंगे मैं वो लेना चालू करूंगा। और ये कह के मैंने एक नोटबुक निकाला और वहां मैंने लिखना चालू किया। तो जैसे ही मैंने लिखना चालू किया, एवरीबॉडीज क्यूरियोसिटी केम ऑन मी कि अरे ये तो पैर से लिखता है। सो दैट पर्टिकुलर इट वाज वो, और तुरंत वो आपस का जो ये है वो तुरंत कहीं गायब ही हो गया। और मुझे एक्चुअली जो चाहिए था वो ये था कि वहां का जो आंगनवाड़ी है, आंगनवाड़ी में थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा जगह मुझे चाहिए था, और पंचायत का मुझे 3% जो भी उनका सेस है, बहुत छोटा सा है हर पंचायत में सेस, वो सेस का 3% मुझे चाहिए था उस आंगनवाड़ी में एक स्पेशल एक थेरेपी सेंटर तैयार करने के लिए। तो साथ ही साथ वहीं पे मंजूरी भी हो गई। इतना झगड़ा करने वाले दो सरपंच उप सरपंच दोनों एक साथ राजी भी हो गए काम के लिए। बोले हाँ हाँ, ऐसे काम के लिए तो इसमें तो हम भी राजी है, इसमें तो हम भी राजी है। तो ऐसे करके एंड देन दैट आल्सो बिकम्स अ काइंड ऑफ पॉइंट ऑफ सेंसिटाइजेशन। तो एक तो हम सेंसिटाइजेशन एक सरपंच लेवल से कर सकते हैं। दूसरी सेंसिटाइजेशन आई थिंक वी नीड टू गो इन, और स्टेज बाय स्टेज आपको तैयार करना पड़ेगा। There's no point in going right at the top and then thinking कि वो trickle down होगा। आपको नीचे से ही तैयार करना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद आप जिला परिषद में जाइए। जिला परिषद में जाकर वहां पे, अब मैं इसमें महाराष्ट्र में डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लानिंग मैंने शुरू किया है। डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लानिंग में ये कर रहा है कि 5% जो अभी अनिवार्य निधि है, वो 5% पैसे को सारे डिपार्टमेंट को 5% अलग कर रखना पड़ता है, पर कोई खर्च नहीं करता है, और यह खर्च कैसे करें उनको पता नहीं है। तो मैं अब जिला परिषद में जाकर मैं उनसे ये कहता हूँ, ये तैयार करके देता हूँ उनको प्लान कि आप अपना 5% कैसे खर्च कर सकते हो। तो सारे जिला परिषद के सब लोगों का बजट लेकर बैठना, उनके साथ ये करना, और उसमें जिला परिषद के अध्यक्ष भी आते हैं, ये तो इन सब लोगों को लेके, तो ये एक जो प्रोसेस है, ये प्रोसेस, ये शायद कोई क्विक फिक्स तो है नहीं, और इस तरीके से शायद there may be many more people, I'm sure there may be more people like me who would love to
इनफैक्ट
do it.
हमने जो मूवमेंट ऑफ पॉजिटिविटी शुरू किया है,
जी,
उसका मेन रीजन ही यही है, टू क्रिएट this kind of a sensitization from grassroots level as well as from the leadership level.
from the leadership, yes.
We believe that you have to have both the models, that is bottoms up and top down.
And top down, yes.
And unless you have a combination of this, we cannot bring, I would say not dramatic changes are impossible, but at least gradual but quick changes.
Yeah.
Is possible if we start. So we would be very happy to have you guide this particular aspect as to how we can proceed further. And maybe Hemangiji would like to maybe ask something.
जी 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 समीर जी, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाह रही थी कि आपका जो भी आपका एनालिसिस, पॉलिसी एनालिसिस का जो भी आपका है, वो तो एक डिफरेंट पार्ट है, बट सर एज अ पर्सन, आई मीन एज जिसको बोलना चाहिए कि एक तरह से आपका जो एक्सीडेंट हुआ सर, तो दैट वाज नॉट अ छोटा मोटा बात सर, इट वाज अ वेरी बिग, I suppose, a big blow to your psyche, your personality. तो सर बार आपको थोड़ा सा वो तो होता ही होगा कभी ना कभी, मतलब लाइक कि कैसे मैं इससे ओवरकम हूँ, या नहीं हो सकता, या what will be my future. तो सर ऐसा ख्याल बार आता होगा, आपने कैसे इसको ओवरकम किया सर? और आज का मैं यदि आपसे ये पूछूं कि हमारा फाउंडेशन काउंसलिंग का काम करता है बच्चों के साथ, तो इन केस कभी ऐसे कुछ मेरे पास बच्चे रहे, तो मुझे उनको किस तरह से मोटिवेट रखना चाहिए, कैसे इंस्पायर करना चाहिए सर?
देखिए, मेरे लाइफ में जो हुआ है, वन ऑफ द थिंग आई थिंक मस्ट हैव बीन एन immense positivity of my mother. I would specifically say about my mother. My father used to be always worried about me. कि क्या होगा, इसको क्या होगा. In fact, I lost him at a very early age also. When I was only 14 and a half years old, he passed away. And he passed away, I know, because of a deep stress as well. और मेरी जैसे मैं भी पढ़ाई में ठीक ठाक ही कर रहा था, स्कूल के समय पे अच्छा ही कर रहा था, तो वैसे उनको चिंता होती थी कि आगे चल के फिर इसका क्या होगा. He was not able to see a future. But somehow my mother, who was not that very educated, she was only 8th pass, but had a lot of hope in me. तो वो जो अपना जो एक अजीब सा एक होप बनाए रखी थी मेरे ऊपर, कि that particular hope never let me get into any, what should I say, there was no chance for me to even think that there was anything wrong with me. वो पता नहीं क्यों, it was ऐसा वो एटमॉस्फेयर या माहौल ही ऐसा था. और उसके बाद fortunately, as Dhaneshwar ji was telling, कि I had a very very wonderful friend circle in my school, in my colleges, and that there must have been some kind of a blessing of the Almighty that kept on going for me in a. तो एक पॉजिटिविटी, यानी चारों ओर से एक पॉजिटिविटी का जो धुआं था वो मेरे साथ चलता गया. तो डिफिकल्टीज तो आती है, इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं सारे डिफिकल्टीज का सॉल्यूशन कहीं ना कहीं तो रहता ही है. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई भी प्रॉब्लम
बिल्कुल सर
है और बगैर सॉल्यूशन का कोई प्रॉब्लम होता नहीं है.
बिल्कुल सर आपने प्रूव करके दिखाया है तो. जी सर.
लेकिन हाँ, थोड़ा सा पेशेंस और थोड़ा सा perseverance, yes, patience, perseverance, ये सारी चीजें शायद ये करती है. But at the same time, since you asked me this question that you get when you get similar kind of children with special needs, see their parents need to play a very big role.
जी बिल्कुल सर, करेक्ट.
पेरेंट्स को आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि ट्राई नॉट टू ट्रीट द पर्सन एज स्पेशल.
Yes, sir.
You have to let them grow. वो गिरेंगे तो भी ठीक है, वो खुद उठेंगे, उसमें बहुत ज्यादा आप सहानुभूति बहुत ज्यादा मत करो. और but at the same time you have to remain very positive. Expect things from them. जो आप दूसरे अपने बच्चों के पास से एक्सपेक्ट करते हो वही उनके पास से एक्सपेक्ट करो. अगर आप दूसरे बच्चों को कह रहे हो कि मैं जब बूढ़ा हो जाऊंगा या बूढ़ी हो जाऊंगी तब तुम लोग मुझे देखोगे, तो वही शब्द आप इस बच्चे को भी बोलो, तो ही उसका खुद का सेल्फ एस्टीम बड़ा होगा. सेल्फ एस्टीम अगर अपने आप के नजर में कोई भी गिरता है तो उठना बहुत मुश्किल पड़ता है.
Yes.
लेकिन अगर आपका सेल्फ एस्टीम अगर आप ऊंचा रखते हो तो फिर आप सिर्फ ऊपर ही देखोगे. यू विल नॉट ट्राई टू लुक बिहाइंड, यू लुक अहेड, यू लुक फॉरवर्ड.
Perfect, sir. Perfect, sir. सर द अदर थिंग इज कि हमारे इंडिया में इतना लैक क्यों करता है सर? ये जो आप कहीं बाहर जाते हैं तो जो एक हम स्पेशल पर्सन के लिए जो फैसिलिटीज देखते हैं सर, इतनी अच्छी फैसिलिटीज होती है कि दे डोंट फील कहीं से भी वो अपने आप को मतलब डिस्कम्फर्ट उनको नहीं होता है. बट सर हमारे यहाँ अभी तक क्यों नहीं हो सका? मतलब आप कहते हैं कि आपने इतने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को एनालिसिस करके दी, पॉलिसीज बना के दी, या उनके किसी पॉलिसी का आपने इवैल्यूएशन किया, तो सर 70 इयर्स हो गए सर, तो अभी तक क्यों नहीं हम वो सब चीजें देख पाते अपने देश में?
See, one thing is, as far as the disability sector is concerned, India started aggressively pretty late. काफी बाद में शुरू किए. It actually started from, you can say 1995 जब पहला एक्ट आया, 1995 एक्ट आया, तब से ये शुरू हुआ. लेकिन वो 95 एक्ट भी एक्चुअली ग्राउंड में 95 एक्ट जो आया, दैट एक्चुअली केम इन 99. करीब 4 साल लग गए उसको जमीन पर आने के लिए. एंड देन ऑब्वियसली एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इट इज नॉट अ पॉलिटिकली चार्ज सब्जेक्ट.
जी.
पॉलिटिशियंस को आज भी पता नहीं है कि वो कितने बड़े वोट बैंक के साथ खेल रहे हैं, या बिल्कुल उनको पता नहीं है, क्योंकि एक्चुअली स्पीकिंग इट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10 to 15% of the population who has some or other kind of disability. Forget about 40%, 30%. ये तो पता नहीं कहां से आ गया है 40% वगैरह. ये कहीं दुनिया में कहीं नहीं है 40%, 30%, 20%. तो या तो आप डिसेबल्ड हो या नहीं हो, दो ही आपके पास चीज है. तो ये अगर 15% आप पॉपुलेशन का पकड़ लो तो आप सोचिए कि कितना बड़ा पॉपुलेशन है.
जी सर.
बट एक तो ये है कि पीपल विद डिसेबिलिटीज आर हाईली फ्रेगमेंटेड, बहुत ही फ्रेगमेंटेड है. ये इनका कोई ढंग से या सही संगठन है नहीं. एक ही मैं बहुत बड़ा संगठन देखा हूं, आज भी है शायद, वेस्ट बंगाल में, जिसको पश्चिम बंग राज्य प्रतिबंधी सम्मेलनी के नाम से जाना जाता है. एंड दैट्स अ काइंड ऑफ अ कार्डर बेस्ड, CPM कार्डर बेस्ड this thing. But when I visited China, I was aghast to see what is called as China Disabled Persons Federation.
Oh.
And China Disabled Persons Federation. And उसको हेड करता था, जब मैं 90s में 2-3 बार जब मैं चाइना गया, उसको हेड करता था डेंग पुफांग. नाउ हु इज डेंग पुफांग? डेंग पुफांग इज द सन ऑफ डेंग जियाओपिंग, जो कि कल्चरल रिवॉल्यूशन के समय यूनिवर्सिटी के चौथे मंजिले से कूद कर नीचे आया और गिर पड़ा, एंड ही बिकेम सिवियरली पैराप्लेजिक.
Okay.
Now, one thing, hats off to that man, is that he could have sat pretty and sat handsome by being president's premier's son. He did not do that. He took it as a revolution और पूरा हिला के रख दिया चाइना को. और हर गली नुक से हर जगह पे आपको सीडीपीएफ का ब्रांच मिलेगा और ये लोग ग्रास रूट पे काम कर रहे हैं. तो ही टुक इट हाईली पॉलिटिकली.
जी.
तो चाइनीज प्रीमियर के बेटे ने इसको मुहिम को उठाया, एंड देन एंटायर द चाइनीज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड द पॉलिटी ऑफ चाइना took it, or they are we ahead of us as far as employment is concerned, accessibility is concerned, सारी चीज. So I think this needs to come into the political platform very very aggressively. तब आपको चेंज बहुत जल्दी दिखेंगे.
जी, सही कह रहे हैं सर. मुले सर, अभी रैप अप करने का सोचें, बिकॉज टाइम इज running short. We are running short of time, sir.
Sure.
Sir, we are not muted, sir.
हम ही क्यों ना काम करे. ये जो डिसेबल पर्सन्स है, उनका नेशनल फेडरेशन आपके नेतृत्व में, इसको हम क्यों नहीं करें?
नहीं कर सकते, बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, क्योंकि किसी न किसी को करना है. हम करते हैं. मैं तो बहुत आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी कि टू बी ऑन योर साइड्स एंड चार्ज दिस.
Yeah, sure.
And it can become a major vertical of our movement of positivity also, because this is something the numbers are not only mind boggling, they are also worrisome.
It's worrisome.
हमें तो इसके बारे में चिंता होती है. एंड एक तरह से पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स को ये अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि 15% अगर वोट है तो these are very precious numbers, large numbers.
बिल्कुल सर.
Absolutely.
मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर आप चाहते हैं तो हम लोग इसको थोड़ा सा सीरियसली टेकअप करते हैं भविष्य के लिए.
I'll be
a good outcome in this particular webinar.
जी सर.
Or anything that you would like to say, Samirji, to we have a large number of listeners around. If
Sir,
you want to ask something, Nidhi, please go ahead.
Yes, sir, if time allows, I have a small question, sir. Yes, sir.
बोलिए.
Sir, हमेशा ऐसा रहता है कि there's always this person with disability section feels secluded. Hello, I'm audible? Yes.
Yeah.
Always yes, sir. Feel secluded. लेकिन बैक ऑफ द माइंड के अंदर हमें ये पता है कि शायद हम उनके अगर हेल्प करेंगे तो उनको ऐसा लगेगा कि हम उनको ऐसे ट्रीट कर रहे हैं कि वो हमसे अलग है. और इसी चक्कर के अंदर क्या होता है कि people who are disabled, they feel secluded. So how can we bridge this gap, sir? कि हम भी कुछ कर पाए और वो फीलिंग भी जनरेट ना हो कि यार हम अगर हेल्प कर देंगे तो उनको ऐसा ना लगे कि हम डिसेबल है इसलिए हेल्प कर रहे हैं हमारी.
You see, choice of word, जो आप उनसे जब बात करते हो तब choice of word आपको सही चॉइस करना पड़ेगा. किस तरीके से कर रहे हैं. You should not sound, जब आप हेल्प कर रहे हो तो you should not sound paternalistic. मैं आपको एक चीज बताऊं, मैं जयपुर में था. जयपुर में सरकारी सर्किट हॉल में था. तो जब मैं खाना खाने गया वहां पे डाइनिंग हॉल पे, तो वहां का एक वेटर आके मुझसे पूछा, और उनका शब्द मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, हिंदी में ही है, बता रहा था. वो कह रहा था, मुझे आकर बोला, सर अन्यथा न ले. पर यदि आपका खाना मैं आपको घर पे ही रूम पे दे दूं तो क्या वो सही रहेगा? Not a trained person, but look at the choice of word that he had. It's very respectful.
Yes, sir.
It brings in that kind of a dignity in you, and at the same time it does not sound paternalistic. It does not sound that he's helping me like that, the quote unquote help, but he's trying
Yes,
to
sir,
understand
sir.
my problem, and then he's trying to offer a solution which I may take or I may not take. So your choice of word needs to be very much there, and don't be paternalistic in offering help. जहां जरूरत है वहीं बोलिए, दीजिए, जहां नहीं है वहां मत दीजिए.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes, sir.
wonderful. That's a wonderful wrapping up, I must say. Yeah, go ahead. Nidhi.
Yes, sir. Sir, we are very much thankful for you, sir, to coming to our show and sharing your time with us, sir. And the whole session was really very motivational and inspirational. And the kind of compassion you have, we hope even if we were able to generate tiny bit of that, it will be worth having a life, sir. So grateful and so glad that I had an opportunity to have a conversation with you all, sir.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you,
and
Sabir.
I also
Great pleasure.
yes, sir. I also thank everyone who is watching 10 News, and I hope each and everyone stays safe and healthy. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank
Namaste. Namaste.
you so much.
Namaste, sir.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye, sir.